we have experts with us, Mr. Vittal and Mr. Hari. Welcome on board, Hari.
Hi.
I think Vittal has also joined it. Give me a few seconds. Mr. Vittal, can you hear us? Can you unmute yourself and open your camera?
Yes,
Yeah.
just give me a second. I
Yes,
think
sure.
I have to.
Yeah, I'll carry on. I'll carry on with the students. So in this session, you would be able to understand what to expect in next 10 months, how to go about it along with your daily routine. I'm sure most of you are working. So Hari and Vittal will explain to you how to learn and how to time it out. And they are really having almost 2.5 decades of doing exactly this. So I must say, Hari and Vittal, when I was going through your profile, indeed you are the makers of kings and queens in the IT industry. So a great service to the industry.
Thank you. We are honored.
While Vittal comes on board, let me introduce him and then I'll introduce you, Hari, to the first set of learners we have. Mr. Vittal is the director of IBM Innovation Center for Education. He's responsible for global rollout of IBM Experts Labs University Initiative. He's a BTech with over 3 decades of experience. Yeah, we can see you, Vittal. And he has been recipient 2 times for innovation and individual excellence. I can very well relate to that part as an educator myself, Vittal, how much more this is required in 21st century. In his previous roles at IBM, Mr. Vittal headed IBM Innovation Center for Partners and was responsible for developing next generation solutions for multiple industries like banking, healthcare, along with IBM partners. Goes on to show that indeed he has created solutions on how technology can be incorporated into various industries. So wherever you're working, this program is suitably designed so that your employability quotient is enhanced to the industry which you belong to. Not only that, if you are an entrepreneur, then or wishing to be one, you are in good hands because Mr. Vittal, you have been incubating more than 100 startups. Wow. And the Innovation Center has been mentoring most of them. So great, Vittal, to read so much accomplishments about you. And thank you for being a blessing to the world. And now it's a pleasure to me to introduce Hari. Hari, I have known for almost a decade. Hari is a leader of business development and academia relationships. See, as a pure academician, Hari, I know the bridge that you bring in between academia and industry. It's a huge, huge need of the hour, and you've been doing it for decades. For IBM Systems University Initiative for the entire South Asia, which includes India. You have 33 years of IT industry experience, and both of you, by the way, are in 23rd year with IBM. At IBM, Hari has performed various cross-functional profiles, which clearly makes you equal partners with Vittal because both of you have curated this entire learning experience so beautifully, which you're soon going to explain. You have actually led open source software, open standards initiative, product development, globalization, systems integrators, and the list is long. And exactly like our colleague Vittal, Hari has received Excellence Award for his contribution towards promotion of IT in school education at the CII Shiksha Awards from none other than then President of India, His Excellency, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. From one IT expert to, or IT guru to another one. Amazing, amazing. It's such an honor to share the panel with both of you gentlemen. So I would now transfer the platform to you, Vittal, virtually, and it's now between you and the first batch of IBM Edology PGP program in data science students. Over to you, Vittal.
Thank you, Dr. Priya, and a very warm welcome to all the audience and learners. This is really, really exciting. I have been associated as, especially with working with on analytics for a very, very long time. And it's such a exciting. Sorry.
I think we are losing him a bit.
Yeah, I think there is some network issue maybe.
Okay, let's wait
back.
for, yeah. Would you like to continue?
Yeah, I think again, very warm welcome to everyone here. Dr. Priya, thank you so much for this warm introduction. It's a win-win partnership that we have brought in on board. It is especially the idea behind this partnership.
Very, very exciting journey. And
is back. Yeah, Vittal, you are back.
I'm going. Oh, okay. Is this okay? Are you able to hear me?
Yes. We just lost you for
are.
a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. So I was just saying this is absolutely, I just wanted to welcome everybody, warm welcome. It's a very exciting journey, I would say. We'll talk more about the program and a couple of points before we go into a little bit more into detail, which myself and Hari will share a bit more details about the program and what do you expect from this program? How do you able to maximize this from this program? Obviously, the most important the outcome, right, from this program, what do you really gain, etc. So while we share, but I really wanted a couple of points before we get into that. This program has been designed by practitioners, basically from industry people, many years. So what do you see in this program? The whole content, what you will go through, is more from industry point of view, and especially you will see as many as case studies. How do we able to apply these technologies from a day-to-day point of view, and so on. Of course, you will have the instructors coming in again from industry, having experience from them. Not only they are trainers, because it's just not the industry experience, but they also need have training experience, so that they can explain in the right fashion. So it is very exciting. I'm sure you will get a lot of things from this. So I'm going to talk about, I'll come back later and with a little bit more detail about this program. But before we get into that, I would I want to hand over to Hari. Maybe Hari, you may want to give a bit of
program overview.
Program, yeah. Structure maybe, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, Vittal, for taking out time. It is indeed a pleasure always. We have known each other for over 3 decades now, and it's more like a family that within IBM, this program, the entire education initiative has been running. And Dr. Priya, thank you again for the warm welcome that you extended to us. It is indeed a pleasure to work along with the Edology team. It's the same passion and commitment that comes forward. And that is exactly what we have been doing in the last 15 odd years now with the education industry. And very warm welcome to every participant that who have joined us today, and this entire batch of cohort that we are going to begin this entire journey. The model of engagement is basically, if you talk about this program initiative, it is basically an advanced certificate in data analytics, and which is specifically what we are covering is a very in-depth program structure. And never before, this is the first time IBM is investing our own certified subject matter experts who are going to directly going to be interacting with all of you. These are going to be weekend classes so that it can accommodate your working hours, the flexibility that it offers to you. Starting from today, we are going to talk about, like, let's say you have to invest about 4 to 5 hours in a week and over the weekends. And those classes are structured in a way that there are learnings for every class. There are learning outcomes, and there are practical nuances that you would be looking at, an applied aspect of the learnings that you're going to do in every class. Over a period of next 9 to 10 months, we're talking about a learning of about 200 hours of learning as part of the program. And there is, of course, learning without application doesn't mean anything. So there will be a project which will be at the end of the program, which will cover the specifics on how data analytics is put to use in for various industries that you can think of. You can choose an industry that you would want the application of data science to be aligned to, and we can help you in this entire application part of it, so that you understand when it comes to real dirtying your hands, as in putting those knowledge to application or solution, is what we are going to drive you with. And that's the overall outcome objective of this program, that once you're graduating out of this program, you would be able to call yourself a data scientist and apply to various job prospects within your organization or outside your organization, that where you're looking at growing your careers. That is something that this particular program becomes a journey or a helping hand to you. Overall, if you see, what we are also covering is basically an one-on-one industry mentoring also, because during the classroom sessions, because these are going to be small sessions, small cohorts, so there will be a lot of interaction is what we are expecting, and that is the reason it has been kept like a live environment of learning. Unlike most of the other online learnings that people go through, which are basically one-sided learning, and then maybe there are some interactions happening. Here it is completely 100% interactive model of learning, which is going to happen for you. And the capstone project at the end is also aligned. That is, you step by step you learn these technology courses, and finally end up in that capstone project, which will be completely the amalgamation of the learning that you've gone through in the next 9 to 10 months. So what we are looking at from the learning perspective is basically the skills which are covered. Though we are covering a wider range of the data analytics spectrum. However, we wanted to touch all of these areas, but in depth. Okay, it's not just a very shallow learning of these areas. It's going to be every subject that you're going to learn is going to be learning in depth in that area, along with the labs which are going to be covered for those specific subjects. So you'll be actually be covering like statistics and probability, which of course I will leave it to Vittal for covering those subject areas. But I'm just giving you an overview that, okay, you'll be learning about data visualization. You'll talk about how data mining happens, or how data application or analytics put in place for various industry spectrums. How data analytics is used in, let's say, in a e-commerce industry, or a healthcare industry, or a insurance industry. So that perspective also you should be learning when you're learning analytics. And overall, if you see what we are also end of the day is when you complete the program, there will be an electronic badge which will be awarded to each one of the student who completes the entire learning curve as well as the project. This badge has its own unique benefits because it is, of course, you can print it and keep it like a certificate, but the power of the badge comes when you start using it electronically. You can put it in your LinkedIn or social media applications, or you can put it in your electronic resume or in your email info, closing info. So every time you send your personal email, those badges also goes along with them. In a way, it actually recognizes your skill set that you brings to the table. So any potential recruiter or anybody, a business associate who wants to interact with you, they would get to know the kind of skill set that officially recognized against your name. And they can also actually click on that badge. It takes them to an IBM server, verifies that credentials along with the skill set that comes along with that badge. So that in a way authenticates the learning that you have gone through in the 9 to 10 months of journey with Edology and IBM. So that's the power of the electronic badge, and it is also recognized worldwide in the industry. And some of the international universities also recognize the badge, the courses that are covered under the badge, and those credits are also, in fact, recognized by those universities and the industry as well. So that's the power of the certificate that comes as part of the program. It's a completely a blended program. I would, in fact, encourage each one of the participant to be participating in those sessions. That is, you should be interacting with the subject matter expert who is teaching, who's come there to teach and enable. As Vittal pointed out, these are industry experts. Okay, of course, they have some teaching, learning, and teaching and experience as well. However, they are industry practitioners. So the more you interact with them, the more you gain out of those sessions. So that is something that I would encourage each one of you. So that is why this is a very unique program. So you're learning directly from the professionals as part of the program. There are also, in fact, Edology is coming up with a couple of job opportunities at the end of the day, at the end of the program. So those opportunities will also be available for you. And there are, in fact, there are some specific I would say, quote unquote, some awards which are there, which we will in any case to while the program is on the go, we will in fact announce those as well. There is also a very unique offering from IBM, which is basically an IBM student kit, which will be in fact coming to all of you once the batch gets rolled out. That will specifically come to each one of you. And while we are here, I just want to touch upon one more area here. Is basically there is a student tracking mechanism which you have built in as part of the program. So it is there to help you. Okay, when you are learning that during the learning curve, it's basically we want to ensure that all touch points are met, okay, and ticked, and so that there is no student who has left behind, okay, during the learning process. And you have not learnt it just for the sake of covering the subject. You have learnt it to understand the subject. You have learnt it to apply or the application part of the subject. And if there is any intervention which is required, we would be very glad from Edology and IBM perspective. We will, both of us will be very, very glad to provide those interventions, so that any lag, if you may want to pursue, if you may look at it like that, or if we think that there is a lag happening from a particular student or a group of student, we would want to arrest that immediately, so that end of the day, during the journey, we want everyone in this program to succeed. And succeed in their career, succeed in technically, if that is the aim that you have come for. And just one specific point I would like to mention here. There were, in fact, a couple of queries which came in that do we need any coding experience to be part of this journey? Do we need to be a programmer to be a part of this journey or learning curve? Not at all required. Of course, if there is a programming experience, it comes in handy. It's always a good to have skill. However, we are not assuming that there is a programming experience that you are coming up with. So the entire journey will start from scratch. We will imagine that you know nothing about analytics or anything about programming. We will start from that, and then we take you through the entire journey of learning process, make you understand, and also when you are in this entire journey, we would ensure that you're able to understand these technicalities as well as the applications and the tools which are there as part of the journey. So that is something that I wanted to bring it to the table before we start the entire program. I would now request Vittal to specifically take us through each course and what exactly we are going to gain out of those courses. Over to you, Vittal. Thanks.
I think I'm sure he will come back.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was very happy to hear it is a program which is designed by practitioners. You have designed a badge, and that is very attractive in these LinkedIn days when we have a badge which can be put up in LinkedIn and even in our virtual CV. It immediately cuts through the clutter through the recruiters. So that is a huge thing. And it's an IBM badge, and it's coming from IBM. So definitely it carries a lot of credibility. We have had students who just finished their BCA and they are pursuing this course so that they enhance their employability. Over to you, Vittal. I was just summarizing what Hari had said. Over to you, Vittal. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Hari. Thank you, Priya. And as I said again, so let me just get in. I think, Hari, you covered some of these program design aspects and construct how this whole program has been designed. So I want to share some more additional details. I think, as Hari, you have mentioned, before I get into the program, I think want to also mention, I think analytics is, I'm sure all of you already have some amount of analytics, already heard about it, about people call business analytics, then somebody calls, some other calls data analytics, and then there's data science also been mentioned. Yeah, I mean, these are all almost very similar. Of course, when you get into a little bit finer aspects and how you apply, there is some amount of differentiation. I'm not going to go into that details, but then there is also an extension of analytics, which goes, if you go further, and I'm going to talk about it, then it gets into what we call as machine learning, ML, AI and ML. So these are all very much relevant. I'm not going to go into too much amount of technical, but I think it's perfectly fine when you look at analytics, which is mostly applied to or aligned more to the business side. Of course, everything what you do is with applications and business, but then when it gets in applied or used in context of like business schools, okay, or more into then we have business, and it was more traditional word used earlier, and data science now it's much more common people here because there's more around algorithms and machine learning and AI. So just wanted to set this context because this is some sort of questions comes to the mind. But however, I think broadly it does cover. The second thing I just want to mention is absolutely, I mean, I'm sure all of you have heard, and I think from somewhere or other or in the newspaper, data is like today is the most important thing. Data is, I don't need to talk about it. They call data is the new oil. What has been the oil, a few decades ago, and data is going to be absolutely the future. I mean, data is something like if you just uh, keep quiet for a while, you see so much noise around you. I mean, of course, if you are sitting in a uh, sorry about it. Can you hear me now? I was keep getting some call in between. Just since I dialed from my mobile phone, so for a moment it has. In case if you are not able to hear, just let me know. Okay. So I was just talking about the data, and data in last, I think in last 10 years, it's been exploding. It's not just growing; it's exploding. I mean, if you want to know about it, I think there's some IDC report which is talks about from last 10 years. Let's say from 2011 to 2021, right? Which is last year, it has grown by 50 times. 50 times it has grown enough. And if you look at the data in the last 3 years, data has grown almost 97% of the data, whatever it was there since the inception of computer. So this is massive, it's mind-boggling, the way data has been exploding. But data is also, like I was saying, it's like a noise. Data is of no use, and unless and until you make sense out of it, right? So if you have a lot of noise around in the room, you really can't make out, right? So from the data, you need to get information, which can be used for your business decisions or getting insights in whatever you're doing. So it's very, very important. So data analytics is where we and I keep telling about this, about 10, 15 years back when you see a cricket match of 2020, or 2020 or one day, you see today there's so much amount of statistics about there and the predictability of what's the pitch, what strengths and weaknesses, what strategies needs to adopt by the opponent team. So there's that expert team sitting behind, and every team has their backend team and doing an analysis. So data analytics is extremely interesting. I mean, what is the whole point if you are seeing at a match which is, you just say that it's won or lost, right? But then what makes is all the kind of analysis which makes it extremely interesting. So that's all about analytics in a nutshell. But analytics again, it has been there last 40 years, 50 years. When you look at it, they were more about MIS, what we used to call management information systems or reports. They were simple reports, right? You used to get in and it used to go. Since then, analytics has evolved massively, and both in terms of breadth, what kind of analytics, and the areas I'm going to talk about it, and how this is relevant from the program, the advanced certificate program, because we cover the entire breadth of this, right? So one of the example I just want to give is, today we all know, everybody, all of us, we are on the social media, for example, so we use WhatsApp, we use Facebooks and Twitters and many things, and corporates obviously use the social media for their benefit, use analytics. So there is something known as social web and mobile analytics, right? So you go and mine how people pursue your product or offering, whether negatively or positive. We call sentiment analytics, right? So there are lots of areas. So social media used in a very, very big way, whether it could be your HR department, knowing about a particular candidate they are going to hire. It is in almost every area, so whether it's HR, whether you want to know your cash flow, CFO about it, how you're doing, or it's a business head or leadership where you want to go and invest in a certain area, or it could be a sales and marketing division, or it can be industry, it can be product management, it literally, or a bank or retail, healthcare, any area, whatever you say, Analytics is all about it, and that's what it makes this not an area. Even at home, right? You will use some amount of insights, whatever decisions you want to make it. Let's say I want to go and buy a house or a flat. So we do all the research and everything. So I think what I really want to say is you can't imagine a data or analytics. There's no area as such. There is nothing can be done. So what we have done, and IBM incidentally has been the leader in analytics. If you look at, follow some of the analysts like Gartner's, right? So we are right up in the top right-hand corner. It's in the leadership quadrant, right? So both in terms of the breadth, what we have in terms of portfolio of solution products and offerings. I'll talk about when I talk about in analytics, what are those areas? Social media analytics is one area of that, but there are many other things which come in there. So IBM is there in every area of analytics, and that's exactly what we have brought in our curriculum, right? So, for example, when you look at the areas of analytics, IBM puts it into 4 or 5 areas, right? From the very simple to the most complex thing, like if you want to take in the thing. So the simplest is what I mentioned is could be a simple reportings, right? So you have a database, could be any relational database or a no SQL or whatever, and how you could able to get reports out of this. So that is there, and it goes into next level, what we call as a descriptive analytics. So descriptive analytics, it goes one step ahead of the simple reports, where you can drill down into the details from the top down. So it's still a postmortem kind of thing, but it's far more comprehensive, where how you model the whole data analytics. So there are tools like Cognos, there are tools like Tableau, right? You would have heard about Tableau, very popular open source tool, right? And Cognos is an IBM tool, again, very one of the top 1, 2, 3 products in the world, right? So very highly demand on Cognos thing. Descriptive analytics is also known as business intelligence. So I want to mention that we should not get confused, that sometimes we use BI, sometimes we use descriptive analytics, but both are same. And what you learn in this one is we start the course first with basic introduction. So you don't need to have any background in analytics. You may be completely new to the area. So the first module actually goes with the basic things. It starts about a little bit what I just mentioned, how the evolution of analytics has happened, where and what, how it has come through over decades, what are the areas of different areas of categories of analytics, what you will study, etc. And we also cover some basic analytics using simple spreadsheets, that is using Excel. You see most of the organization, they still continue to use Excel. Excel is fairly very powerful in that. So my finance department, actually, they use mostly the Excel. They are very comfortable. They use macros and pivot charts and this and that. So Excel is still useful. So we teach from there onward. So it's very basic things. Then the next module goes into what we call as business intelligence, descriptive analytics. So it gets into about data warehouse, data modeling. Then you go into the analysis part, how you could able to build models on this. Again, Hari, you have covered very well. Not much of program, right? So if you, of course, there is where I'll tell you where programming also comes in. So where some of you would like even there are languages like R and Python, which are more very scripting. Python is the most simplest language. Okay. Again, there are things where you can extend your knowledge using either, mostly we use R or Python, which is an open source tool and very popular thing. And then we use the most important thing is data visualization. Data visualization is one of the most thing. It is all about presentation. It makes lot of sense how you see at the data, you know. So you would have seen when in the last most of the elections, right, on the TV channels, how they bring in the whole data visualization, how they make the most complex analysis into much easier to understand and present. You know, very interesting. So, and there are a lot of science in how to do about this data visualization. It's just not very simple bar charts, pie charts, etc., etc. But there's many more things goes. So that's in the descriptive analytics and data visualization, which we sets the whole ground there. Then we have the next course, which is course 3, where you go what I call as predictive and advanced analytics. You know, so this is something which is on the prediction. So while the descriptive analytics is more like a post-mortem, right? You see what happened. You want to go insights, you want to go into drill down and build that entire intelligence. That's why you call business intelligence or descriptive analytics. Predictive analytics is much more advanced analytics, where we not only take existing data, systems coming either from your relational database, you can even, for example, I'm just saying I want to launch a product, and I have my product features, pricings, and I know how it gets sold in certain seasons, etc. But then if I want to do a prediction, because let's say competition is coming with a new offering, okay, it's on the horizon. Okay, there could be a war happening somewhere else. Okay, there could be some other incident. So you put in a lot of constraints. What you put in is lot of constraints. So you, by putting these constraints, then you model. It's not a very simple, but you're putting a lot of constraints. And in spite of all of these challenges or opportunities, you model and then you say, show how you can able to predict. For example, your sales prediction can be very simple on past history. So generally in Jan, Feb, March, before the budget, my sales goes up. Or in, let's say, July, August, or whatever, my sales normally come down. That's a pattern from my previous past data. But that is descriptive analytics. But what you get in predictive analytics, you bring in lots of more constraints, putting in the model. So it's all about modeling. If you look at tools like SPSS modeler, you know, SPSS is the tool from IBM again, very popular. So you go and model this, the whole challenges, and then it shows you the prediction and forecast. In spite of all of these challenges, how I'm moving to. And it can be continuous improvement. I can keep adding more challenges as I go. So a lot of corporates use on prediction and forecasting. There is a lot of things which can work on. So this is about predictive and advanced analytics. Then we do have something very, very popular, and we call this big data. I'm sure everybody would have heard about big data. Big data is data earlier used to be more structured earlier. It used to be in a table form, like typically you have rows and columns. But today's data is not. I can have a video. I can have an image. Let's say you take an MRI scan, which is 100 MB, you know, in terms of size. An X-ray is a 10 Mbps thing, and you're so many patients. Or it could be a video clip, or it could be a simple Twitter. Somebody would have tweeted. It's in a free form. How do I able to go do analysis? Big data is something where huge and massive amount of data. It's a way of how you crunch the whole data and how you model. We call Hadoop, and then we have analysis and mining based on that. So we go into fairly in depth. This is the course 4 covers primarily on around big data and analytics. Very important again, considering the data which is there, and almost every corporate have this, right? Then we have social media and social and web analytics, we call. I spoke about this earlier. Very useful, very powerful. So if you look at all these courses, right from starting from Excel to business intelligence to predictive advanced analytics to big data analytics to social web analytics. Every area can fetch you a job opportunity. Each area is itself in fairly big and we cover. So one of the things is that we tried covering not only the concept, but also the tools. And most importantly, what Hari mentioned is how to able to apply this. If I want to go in, like, for example, pick up descriptive or predictive analytics. How predictive analytics, can I able to have at least 5 or 10 use case scenarios or applied areas for banking or a retail or a healthcare or in a HR department or in a finance department, etc. So we have what we call as functional analytics or industry applied analytics. So what we do is that at the end of every course or somewhere in the course, we try to bring in these use case scenarios so that you not only know these technologies, but how these are being applied. What are those use case scenarios? In a bank, how big data is used? We call that for compliance and regulatory, right? Risk compliance is a big thing in banks. There's something known as Basel, which is a compliant, and RBI has made it mandatory for all banks. So massively used, and analytics is what used big time. So what we try to do is bring in some of these use cases for either in various industry, vertical domain areas, could be bank, could be retail, could be healthcare, etc. Or it could be cross-industry, like supply chain, or it could be your HR or any of those areas. So we try to go and so that the student can able to apply for a broader area. Let's say I go in and tell about 10 things, the students can able to start exploring that another 5 or whatever it is you get. So it's all again a lot of case studies and analysis. Also, we have assignments, Keystone, Capstone, Keystone project, Hari, you did mention. So overall, what we have tried is to have a cross cover as much in depth and as much in breadth, right? So we only have this 9 months, but then we expect the student to be very well versed and very comfortable in terms of applying and using this. And one of the things I really like about it is usually the size of the batch, right? So when you have too many students, that also will have it. But I think I'm very, very excited and to know about this goal. I was looking at the curriculum and the content, what it was. Absolutely exciting. I wish I could also join in this class. But this is very, very good. And I want to only say a few things. Take maximum advantage. The content is there. The curriculum is there. The instructors are there. Industry practitioners are there. Take maximum. It's left to you now how much you want to grab from this and how you can able to apply to it. Of course, you will get a certificate. There is a graded assessment also where we have at the end of every course, there are 5 courses modules. There is an assessment happens and these assessment gets eventually counted. Let's say 5 assessments, 5 courses, 5 assessment. Each assessment is 1 hour. It's like an exam or a test. But that counts for your 50% of your marks. The rest of the 50% of the marks goes into your project, right? So how this is whole structured, I think Hari has covered that part. But again, I would say these are all good to have marks and all those things, but I would always count on what you gain out of this maximum. Yeah. So those are all there. So I guess I covered to some extent of this detail and very exciting. I feel it's a great opportunity. IBM, of course, is there along with Edology. We are very extremely passionate about it, especially technologies like this. So I think with that, I'll just pause here. And I think, Priya, if we can have any questions, or is there anything else?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Hari and Mr. Whittle. That was very informative. We would have 2 more orientations planned next week and the following week. But right now, I will announce what is going to happen next week. 4th of August in the evening, we will have learning platform orientation so that we tell you how to navigate through our learning portal. Where are the content? Where are the assessments? How to join the live sessions, etc. So that all would be explained to you on 4th of August evening. You will get intimation from our student support team through email, through WhatsApp, and through call. Following Sunday at the same time, you have a masterclass from Edology. It is from none other than our head, Mr. Sumant, and don't miss it. The classes have begun, so you need to be regular. And to make you regular and to help you stick with the program, Edology team will keep reminding and pull you back from your busyness. So that is our job. I didn't see any questions. That's because all of you have asked it. But if any of you have questions, we would request you to raise your hand by using the reaction button. It is there up in the platform, and we could unmute you. And yeah, any student, anyone has any questions, now is the time to ask. You could also use the chat box to type your question. Raghu Kumar, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Good morning, ma'am. I am Raghu Kumar from Tamil Nadu. Actually, last week itself, I just go through the WhatsApps and all those things, YouTube, all those things, and then I got the ideology. So I am interested to that ideology. After that, I spoke to, I applied the IBM, and after that, I discussed with some peoples, so that I have a doubt. So how to learn? I'm interested to do it, but the thing is, it will be futurely, it will be affected or any other things. Are I have completed MBA. I'm working as a HR in Bangalore for 8 years experience. But I want to learn. I want to learn some human activities. How to employees activities, how they are doing in futurely. I am also thinking about in future means employees are how they satisfied in futurely. So that I am interested to do that. So that I planned it. So that I asked that person, and they tell to for connect the interview. So connect the meeting. So that I actually had doubt. I don't know, but they are speaking, understand, but I couldn't get their ideas about the data analysis.
Okay. I don't think that's a question. I think it's a comment. And this program would help you because we do have a capstone project at the end of the program. Okay. And that is the time where you would be able to experiment with what you really want to do after the program. And through the program, there are one-to-one mentoring sessions also, where the team from IBM would help you throughout the program on how you can apply these concepts to what you eventually want to do and what you aspire for. Anything? Yeah. Yes, Harry? Yeah. Both of you, please. Yeah.
So I just wanted to add, Priya, I think absolutely. I think it's a very interesting question, and I mentioned in my earlier when I spoke, Mr. Raghu, absolutely, analytics can be applied in every area, including HR. You know, in your job role, what you're doing. For example, from every day, I'm just picking up a scenario. Let's say there is a sudden increase in attrition. Okay. So the general perception, it could be, oh, compensation is not good, or it could be because of compensation, it could be because of whatever. But then you could use analytics, you could use analytics to really find out what could be the cause, right? So this is what we call more from a descriptive analytics, but also it could go into prediction. It could even go in terms of having. So there are lots of HR analytics is one big area. It's all about In fact, when we go in, will share some of the use case scenarios. See, we can't cover all whatever possible scenarios which could have analytics. But what we can do is we will try to cover as much as possible scenarios so that you get an idea that how analytics, different areas of analytics can be used in your particular problem, right, in our job work. So it is definitely going to be part of this. So when we have some of these, most likely, I don't know when, but at the end of each course module, we will try to bring in some use case scenarios for various things. So that's what I really want to say, including possibly that we could able to use some. And if you feel there is something, ask for it. Okay, it may not be possible for us to share and everything, but whatever we could able to help, very happy to, so that the idea is you understand analytics, how it can be used in your own.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Hari, you want to add anything?
No. I think exactly what Vital shared. In fact, there are specific assessments that you can do as an HR head in an organization, as Vital pointed out, predicting like a scenario. For example, there one is of course salary increments and all that is very common parlance, but it could also be the work environment, right? Your team or your like let's say a project that an employee has taken up, a team has taken up. So there are like you can design questionnaires or which can be designed and produced to the employee so that they can participate in them without directly asking them those questions. But then you can find out exactly what is the mood, right? So these are sentiment analysis that you can do to find out exactly what's brewing before it actually impacts the organization. So these are again analysis one can do as an HR head or HR professionals. Using analytics, you can find out and then predict and arrest those situations without making them happening. So these are scenarios one can work on.
Thank you. Anyone else has any more questions? We have time to take one more question. Okay. I'm just seeing the participant list if anyone has unmuted. No. Okay. Thank you so much, gentlemen, Mr. Vittal, Mr. Hari. Sunday morning, well spent, I must say. And thank you all my learners, Edologians, IBMians. It's a great, great pleasure to bring this program to you. We will see you again on 4th of August with the next part of orientation. And do check out your inbox and your WhatsApp messages so that you don't miss out on communication from us. Thank you. Happy rest of the Sunday to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Wish you all the very best. Thanks. Take care. Thank you, Priya. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.